I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
How's it going? Welcome back to another great video here on the Savior Show. Ooh-wee! Yes, get excited boys, and make sure that you join the channel today if you are new, which is highly likely. Go down below and subscribe. I would appreciate it so much if you did that. Join this fantastic community. I make all kinds of videos on this channel, from philosophical videos to retrospectives, so make sure that you join the channel. And let's get on with my retrospective of Prey. Now, this game is truly a masterpiece. Prey is a masterpiece. Grab yourself a snackaroonie, a drink, and don't be huffing on that glue. Pay attention to the video, stay connected as we dive into this Prey retrospective. I myself, like many of you watching this video perhaps, disregarded Prey when it released. And when the trailers came out, when the gameplay reveal dropped and, footage was shown off, I just kind of forgot about this game. I am a massive fan of Bethesda games, and of course, Prey was made by the same people who made Dishonored, so I thought, it must be pretty good. It must be a good game. Prey didn't have strong marketing behind it. Marketing wasn't shoved down most gamers' throats like most modern day games are nowadays. Prey pretty much went under the radar when it first released. I think the genre of this type of game and the art style and the themes surrounding it just wasn't that popular at the time. It was pretty saturated with, big releases when Prey first released, and that's why it was just kind of forgotten about and swept under the rug. The big outlets didn't praise Prey all that much and gave it mediocre scores, but over time, Prey gathered a cult following, and for good reason, because this was the System Shock game that we all were waiting for. A love child between System Shock, BioShock, and I would say Half-Life. I'm disappointed in myself that I never gave Prey a chance when it first released, but I think those are the reasons why many people didn't. But I'm so happy and so glad that I went back and I played Prey recently, because now this is one of my all-time favorite video games to ever release. And I never thought I would be saying that in 2022, when for me gaming has become stale and modern day gaming is becoming more and more generic. It's now saturated with corporate greed, microtransactions, and laziness, in my opinion. And to be honest, it's very difficult for me to fall in love with a new game. But I'm so glad that I gave this a chance, because Prey is a masterpiece. And today I want to give you my Prey retrospective and explain to you why I think Prey is a masterpiece and why it's one of the best games to ever release, in my opinion. Now, I have to make this clear before I get into my retrospective of Prey. I'm the kind of gamer who loves choice and consequence and morality, and games that ask you, the player, questions that you have to answer for yourself. Now, that's not to say that I don't like any linear story game. I do love good story video games, don't get me wrong. There's a big difference between telling a story via gameplay and world building, using the gaming media format at its highest potential, because at the end of the day, you're not watching a movie, you're not watching a TV show, you're playing a video game. And the whole point, in my opinion, of playing a video game is the fact that you, as the player is interacting with the world around you. If you've been around for a while and you're a sinner of the Savior channel, a disciple, you will know that I love games like Dark Souls. In fact, Dark Souls is my favorite video game of all time, but that's not to say that I don't like story-driven video games like Mass Effect, like Fallout, for example. But the big difference is, these games give you choice. They ask you, the player, questions. Unlike narrative linear experiences, a game like Red Dead Redemption, for example, it doesn't care about you, the player. It only cares about the story that it's trying to tell. And that's amazing, okay? That's great for the first time you play it. I still do love those types of video games. The problem is, for me, I can't replay those games. Maybe you are different and you can replay those games and it doesn't matter, and you will find enjoyable ways to engage with the game, even if you've played it before. But for me, because the story won't change, because the narrative path is already set for me, it takes away most of my enjoyment from playing those types of linear games. I think this summarizes it pretty well.
But eventually the motivator for Abby becomes save your friend Owen and save these kids Yar and Lev because you feel a moral obligation to after they saved your life, and maybe you're also seeking some sort of redemption for brutally torturing and murdering Joel as an act of revenge. Wait, but I didn't do that though, Abby did. And also, hey, Ellie killed all of your friends, including the pregnant one at this point, so you might be motivated to kill her in this boss fight. I don't know, it's up to you. Except it's not, because this is an extremely linear game that only ends win-win. You'll get a game over if you try to do anything other than kill the people we want you to kill in the exact way we want you to kill them, even though we're also clearly saying that the cycle of violence is destructive with how we're presenting the story and themes and cutscenes and gameplay.
So the problem that I have with most linear-based games is ludonarrative dissonance. And I'm sure you've heard that term before, and maybe you're a little bit sick of it, which I understand, but I think it is a valid criticism because unlike games in which you have choice, like an RPG for example, or an immersive sim, which is what Prey is, it's basically a sub-genre of games pretty much which System Shock and Half-Life kind of birthed, in which you have player choice, you make your own decisions, or at least you have the illusion of choice. And I'm not talking about a bullshit type of illusion of choice like you would get in games like The Walking Dead from Telltale. I'm talking about actual choices that have weight and consequences that you would see in Fallout or games like Mass Effect or in Prey. What you do as the player and how you interact with the world will actually change the events of the game. With linear-based games, you don't get a say in the matter. Like I said, you're on this roller coaster and you're basically strapped in for this ride and you can't get off, and you've just got to, see it through until the end. And usually if it's a good game, it's going to be a fun ride no matter what, and there are plenty of good story-driven games. But me personally, I love games that give you choice, and Prey is one of the best games out there for player choice and player creativity. This game is brimming with creativity, and an immersive sim is something that I haven't really experienced that much before. The problem with modern day gaming today is it's just trying to replicate movies, TV shows, and the kind of media that is cinematic in nature, and that is fundamentally what's destroying the gaming industry, if you ask me. It's treating the players like babies, it's taking away creative freedom from the player, it's limiting itself within its own media because it's trying to have a more focused narrative experience. And like I said, that does sometimes work, but to me the whole joy of a game, like I said, is player freedom and creativity. And that is what's so refreshing about Prey, and why I think Prey is a masterpiece. So in this Prey analysis, I'm just going to talk about what makes this game so great. I'm not going to go into spoilers because if you haven't played it, I want you to go and play it for yourself. And I'm not going to dive deep into the gameplay mechanics. I'm just going to talk loosely about what makes this game such a masterpiece in my opinion. So let's jump into the basics. Now, Prey is a sci-fi immersive sim, and the theme and the art style is to me what stands out already, because it's set in this alternative history where basically JF Kennedy didn't get assassinated and the space race escalated to such a point that humans developed this space station, and then slowly over time it got taken over by a corporation that basically dealt with experiments with an alien life form. But basically, Prey teaches you at the very beginning that you can't trust your surroundings, you can't trust yourself even. We as human beings like to think that we have free will and we have choice, but in the end, the choices that we make are kind of already predetermined for us and our surroundings based on our behaviors and all of this other stuff. And that's already an interesting idea. Prey deals with the human psyche in an interesting way, and I love that type of thing. It also deals with morality. In many ways, I would compare it to System Shock and games like Fallout, because you can actually interact with other NPCs and you can decide the fate of them. You can decide who you want to save, who you want to interact with, where you want to go, how you get there, pretty much everything. It's all open to you because the game itself gives you so many tools and mechanics that you can use to manipulate the environment, to actually bypass the environment, to interact with the enemies around you. It gives you so many options that you don't even have to engage with combat if you don't want to. The attention to detail in Prey is absolutely astounding. There is so much lore to this game. Every single terminal will have useful information. It deals with theoretical physics, and it truly makes you think about what exactly humans would be doing if we did interact with an alien life form. I feel like Prey is more relevant than ever because, especially now with people like Elon Musk, who wants to promote this kind of dystopian future of Neuralinks and integrating humanity with technology and perhaps even other life forms in the future. You know, how far will humans go to progress themselves, their own selfish desires? You know, Prey touches on a lot of different morality-based themes. When you play Prey, it always makes you question your own decisions and if you're actually going down this path because that's truly what you want to do, or if it's just a narrative path that someone else has set up for you, because you can't trust anything in Prey. Gameplay mechanics that it gives you are so liberating and so creative and just honestly so goddamn refreshing compared to most games nowadays. It gives you so many ways to interact with everything around you because the aliens are such a unique design and they can kind of morph in and out from different parallel universes. You can basically harness their power and use all of these different types of abilities where you can actually transform into any object around you. You have a glue gun. You can use this to create ledges and ladders. You can also use it to create pathways up to higher grounds, to go around certain areas. You can also use it to put out fire, to patch up broken machinery. And it just gives you so much choice. It's just absolutely astounding. The combat itself isn't, of course, as polished as other first-person shooters like Doom or something like that, but it's not trying to be. What's so engaging about Prey is the fact that you have so much creativity and so many different ways to interact with everything around you. Prey also has different endings based on your own decisions and based on your morality. Like I said, you can play this in so many different ways. The immersive sim genre of gaming is all about inhabiting this character that you create, and it's basically you, and that's what I love so much about it. Also, just the world building in Prey is just next level. The level design, it's all integrated so well. You don't need the HUD at all in this game because everything is laid out just like it would be if it was a real space station. You have moments where you get to experience zero gravity and you can go out into space and see the entire space station. It's all interconnected, and in some ways reminds me of the level design in Dark Souls. In many ways it does remind me of the level design in Dark Souls because, like I said, this space station is all connected and interconnected, which is just absolutely amazing. Just when you think you've discovered and explored an area of a level, you can go back, and because you have unlocked new abilities, you can then explore even more by using these powers from the aliens, from the mimics. Like I said, you can turn into a cup, and then because you're a tiny cup, you can then squeeze through a door, or maybe you've unlocked abilities where you level up your psychic powers, where you can manipulate heavy objects, or maybe you've gone into a skill tree where you know how to repair doors and hack and bypass machinery. You know, there's just so many different ways of engaging with the world in Prey, and that in itself is already incredible and makes Prey an amazing game. But it's not just that, it's the story that's engaging. It doesn't need to be about the end destination, it's about the journey, and that's what gaming should be about. It should be about discovering something about yourself as the player playing these games and exploring these new digital environments. The world space, the high-tech sci-fi and alien, dystopian, mysterious vibe that Prey has, the soundtrack, the art style, the theme, you know, the attention to detail in the world, in the universe of Prey is interesting enough on its own without, you know, a strong narrative, because you want to know how these aliens function, so it gives you a reason to actually interact and read the notes and listen to the audio logs. And in some games you just don't care because it doesn't matter, but because everything is integrated so well and it matters to you because you interact with these gameplay systems that are so engaging, you can't help yourself but be fascinated by what's going on in this weird, wacky universe that Prey has created. This is the kind of storytelling that I love. This is why I fell in love with gaming to begin with, and as I've got older, it's much more difficult for me to realize why I cared about gaming to begin with when I was younger. Games like Prey come once in a blue moon, but they actually teach you something. But to me, what makes these games so engaging is that they don't just entertain you, but they actually teach you something about yourself. And to me, that's the greatest experience of all, is learning something new about yourself, taking away something from an experience that helps you grow and develop and makes you question the world around you. And that is why Prey is a masterpiece. And yeah, I just love it, and I think you should give it a try, because I completely disregarded this on release, but Prey is the best immersive sim game to ever exist in my opinion. That is my Prey retrospective and my Prey analysis. I hope that you enjoyed this video, my sinners. If you did, please join the channel. If you are new, subscribe. And if you want me to make more content like this, more in-depth, philosophical retrospectives and all kinds of stuff, if you want me to keep going, consider donation. And please let me know your thoughts and opinions on this game if you have played it, and what is your favorite video game / immersive sim. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.